Hey guys, what's up? It is Ripe again, back with r/am I the a-hole, where people want to know whether they are a horrible person or not, and we help them decide. Without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. And the first one is titled, Am I the jerk for threatening to sue my parents for taking out student loans in my name? I graduated college 4 years ago and I rarely speak to my mother or father. Maybe 2 to 3 times a year, and even then it is only for a few minutes. They refused to let me play sports in high school or have a social life, and they have basically cut me out of their life since I and about 75 other people got a city drinking ticket 7 years ago in college. Since I live about 800 miles away, I only go back to my hometown once a year, either for Thanksgiving or Christmas. Most years I stay with a friend or at a hotel. Last year I stayed with my parents. No way in hell am I going back for either this year. Just about 5 months before I graduated college, my parents bought a boat. I know they got a good deal on it and they have used it a lot. They took it out of the water for the season in early October. I have literally never seen it in person, just pictures from Facebook. Last week I had texted my father, first contact since March, and let him know that I would be able to make it back for Christmas. About a minute later he called and over the course of 5 minutes explained how he and my mother decided, since their last child was about through college, they would buy a boat. The only problem was they did not have the $20,000 to buy it. What was their solution? Take out a student loan in my name, of course. My mailing address was always their house through college, so I was none the wiser. Why was my dad telling me about it now 4 years after the fact? Because they cannot pay it back. They actually never paid any of it back. They kept putting it in forbearance, but that ran out early this year. Fast forward 7 or 8 missed payments later, and my dad tells me the only reason he's telling me now is because he does not want me to bring it up at Christmas and he knows it is going to default in a month or 2. His exact words were, "If you're going to make a big deal about this, it is best if you don't come home this year." He also said it is about $25,000 is what I would need to pay it off. I hung up and just sat in shock for a couple of minutes. I called my brother yesterday and told him what was happening and that I think I'm going to sue them for whatever it takes to pay off the loan. I still don't know what the amount is yet. I should probably find out by next week. I am cool with my brother and he's cool with my parents, and I'm sure he probably talked to them because this morning I get a text from my mom just saying, "Do not sue us." I texted her back saying she would need to immediately pay off the entire loan and show me proof. She texts back that I need to grow up. Obviously, I'm not even going to respond to that. The boat is probably worth half of what they paid for it by now, and with the hours they've put on it. I don't know if they have the money or not to pay up immediately if I sue them, but I figure I can at least garnish their wages. My older brother called and asked me to hold off a few months before doing anything, that it was crappy of them to do that, but to give them a chance to start paying it off. So guys, in regards to the thread title, would you say OP is the a-hole for threatening to sue his parents for taking out student loans in his name in order to buy a boat, or not? Let us know your opinion in the comments. A user in this post said, "Sue them? Bro, I'm a fraud investigator, don't sue them, or at least don't just sue them. Call the non-emergency line and have an officer come out and take a police report and then contact the lender, explain the situation and send them the report. That loan will come right off your report, assuming the investigators are halfway competent. You actually are not even required to file the police report per law, it just helps slide things along. Your parents said they took out a loan and cannot pay it back. You should not be worrying about that at all, it is fraud. They should be the ones that worry about this." And another person said, "This is called fraud, you're not the a-hole, but if you don't want to deal with the financial ramifications, you need to freeze your credit and file a police report. While on the subject of credit, you need to thoroughly go through all 3 credit bureau reports and check the open accounts to make sure they did not generate any additional new accounts that you are not aware of." And guys, I would just like to issue a little trigger warning for the next one, because OP will talk about his mentally handicapped sister in not really a positive way. And by the way, for the next one we will also have an update, and I would like to hear from you if you would want me to read Am I the A-hole posts with updates like we do with legal advice. As far as I know, that is something nobody else is doing at the moment, so I guess it would be a nice type of variety to have. Anyway, the next one is titled Am I the A-hole for despising my mentally handicapped sister? The title makes me sound horrible, but hear me out. My sister is severely autistic, she requires attention almost 24/7 and cannot be left alone. She is nonverbal and cannot take care of herself at all. Despite the fact that she is only 12, she is extremely destructive and violent and destroys anything she gets her hands on. I hate her, that should be wrong to say, but it does not feel like it. I was only 6 years old when she was born, and since then I've never solely had my parents' attention. Even since I can remember, the world has revolved around her. I was moved out of my room into the basement at 7 because she needed to be in the room next to my parents. All of my toys as a child were destroyed by her, and my parents simply ignored me when I complained. Even when I was 14 and she destroyed a Mac that my school gave me, I was in the wrong. Along with this, I am expected to take care of her and drop everything I do for her. I can never make plans with friends because my parents expect me to be there if they need me to take care of her. Even when I do somehow get time to myself, I am required to leave if they need me. If I do not, then I am punished. The recent example of this is when I went to see the new Spider-Man movie and was grounded because I turned my phone off in the theater. It seems as if I am nothing more than a slave to them, and anything involving her simply overshadows me. This last week, I was chosen to give a speech at a school event. I was so excited and my parents promised to be there, but they never showed up and claimed it was because of my sister. Anytime anything like this happens for me, they are too busy with her. I have held this in for so long and it finally spilled out today. While talking about colleges with my father, he joked that I should get a degree that pays well, so when they are gone I can take care of my sister. I don't know why, but this caused me to break down. I cried and screamed about how it is always about her. I am nothing more than a caretaker to them, that they always make it about her, and that I am expected to be her slave for the rest of my life. I have locked myself in my room since then, and my parents have not come to check on me. Am I the a-hole here? Edit/update. Wow, thank you for all the support and love that you guys have given me. I have never expected this post to reach the popularity it did. Thank you all. After thinking about it for these past hours, you are right that I don't despise my sister. It is not her fault that she was born the way she is. My parents came to talk to me a while after my breakdown, but I was unable to bring myself to talk to them and only cried and asked them to leave. They have made arrangements with my grandfather for me to stay with him for the time being, and I am getting ready to go to his house. My parents want to talk to me, but we have decided it is best I leave for now to have some space and time to collect myself. We will be sitting down and talking later this week about this issue. Thank you all again for the love and support through this. So guys, remember, the story was titled Am I the a-hole for despising my mentally handicapped sister? So, what do you think? Is OP the a-hole or not? And to be honest guys, in my personal opinion, I don't really think that he hates or despises his own sister, but instead, obviously, he despises his parents, which is more or less justified if you ask me. They are essentially treating him like a slave, and there's no reason for that. A user in the comments said, not the a-hole, these are perfectly legitimate and understandable feelings. You have done nothing to sign up for taking care of another human being. It is not like she's your kid. And that was wrong of your dad to joke about, because it sounds like he probably is really thinking along those lines. Be honest with your parents about how you feel. Make clear that it is insane that you are expected to be a full-time babysitter grounded for no phone in a theater. That's effing bullcrap. And another person said, hey, autistic guy here, can confirm that OP is not the a-hole here. I can totally get the situation from OP. I know this is taboo, but we are not pets and we shouldn't just be thrown around like, okay, you will take care of him now. No, if you don't want to take care of us, fine. But don't throw us in someone's hands without even asking us first. Our friendships and life is based around trust. It takes time to build up a friendship and relationship in general with people for us more than anyone else does. I just hate all of the taboos around there in the world about us autists. It just shouldn't even be a taboo. I am sorry for the rant, I just felt like I wanted to clear things up, since I've seen more and more posts on all kinds of subreddits noticing the hate towards us. We are kind people. Well, I am an internet troll, so please excuse me, and except for some bad rotten apples of course, please don't see us as an item or an entity that is just there. We need care, but we don't need to get treated differently. And some of us don't need attention 24/7. Edit, obviously most do need attention 24/7 due to 24/7 impulsive behavior and constantaneous meltdowns. It sucks, but it is needed, the attention, but not forced attention like what happens to OP. I am also getting way too much attention in my family, and I am obviously noticing it annoys some of my other family members and siblings. I keep saying it to my parents, but she just won't listen to it. That is also a taboo. We can see others' emotions/feelings. We do understand emotions, feelings, troubles. We are just having a hard time with it. That is all. Conclusion: OP should not be expected to be able to take care for someone severely autistic out of nowhere and is not the a-hole. But we are talking about someone with severe autism, so like, ignore half of what I just said. I really just started some controversy here. I am sorry. And now we will read an update to the mentally handicapped sister's story. And once again guys, if you would like to hear Am I the A-hole stories with updates, please let me know in the comments, because as far as I am aware, nobody else is doing this so far, but I guess if I start doing it, other people might join in, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I am back like I said I would be. My original post got a lot of attention, and seeing as you guys seem interested, here's my update. Well, since that day I made the post, I've been staying with my grandfather. The week's been honestly a huge change for me, for better and for worse, but I will try to run it down. I started by telling my grandpa the story of why I broke down the way I did, and to be honest, he seemed horrified. No one in my family knew my parents were using me as essentially a free care service for my sister. My grandpa told me some things that I don't feel comfortable repeating here, but in essence, my sister is supposed to be getting care from a professional, and that my parents were ignoring that. Along with this, I was not supposed to be caring for her at all with her mental state, as apparently she is a danger to herself and others. With everything else I told him, along with stuff like the movie Indecent, he was really mad and told me to not contact my parents without him there. He pretty much told me that he would be meeting with my parents beforehand and that he was going to be there when I sat down with them. It did not end here either. The rest of the week consisted of other family checking in on me and telling me things my parents hid from me. This included the fact that my parents have been taking money from family to fund a caretaker that does not exist. Suffice to say, this week has been rough, but the upside is that even through all this, my extended family has been giving me more love than I have felt in a while. My grandfather spent this last week making up for the time I have lost, encouraging me to spend time with friends and do things I want to do. My aunts and uncles have also been helping me through the week. Well, Saturday night I sat down with my parents to talk. It went badly to say the least. They came clean to me about everything. They told me things I will not repeat here, but they did not apologize. My parents still claim that I somehow owed my sister my time. My father even saying, "You were put here to be her caretaker." I won't lie and say I was composed. After everything I learned, I confronted them on the fact that my sister needed a caretaker, the money my dad was taking from his sister, and a few other things. They denied it or made excuses, and in the end we ended off in a worse place than before. Today will be my last time talking to them for a while. After talking with my grandfather and uncle last night, I am not going back. Later today, I am going there and picking up my stuff and moving in with my grandfather. When I graduate high school, I am planning on leaving the state to go to school. My aunt has told me that the money she was sending my dad will instead be coming to me from now on. My parents have called me twice since Saturday, neither of them were to apologize and only asked when I was coming home. I won't be going back to them. Right now I still feel pretty uneasy about everything, but I feel like that will pass. The rest of my family is showing their support to me and honestly, it feels great. But in the end, I lost my parents. Over all of this, I have learned something that I wished I saw earlier. I don't hate my sister, in fact I love her with all my heart. I should have never projected my hate onto her, that was wrong, and someday I hope to make up for it, but for now I need to leave. So there is my update. Thanks again for the support my original post got. I really appreciate everyone who took the time to comment or show me support. Thank you. Edit. Thank you all so much. I wish I could respond to every single one of you, but my lunch only lasts so long. I will update tonight how the move out went, but until then, thank you all. Late edit. Wow, I never imagined my story would reach the popularity it did. I know it is kind of cliche and I've said it 1,000 times, but thank you all. We just got back from moving my things out of my parents' house. Everything I wanted to take, my grandpa and uncle helped move, and it is at my grandpa's house now. I have my birth certificate, social security card and every other document and record I could think of. My parents were quiet the whole time I was there. Shortly after I arrived, my dad left with my sister and my mom, only hovered over us silently as we moved. It took a while, but as we left she broke down and told me she loved me and would miss me. I hugged her and said goodbye, and that was it. Even now I sit here and think if she really meant it. After this whole week of her not saying anything, she waited till the end. I hope she meant it. Right now though, I think I just need to look ahead. Maybe one day me and my parents can reconnect. I hope so. And guys, I gotta say, I forgot how old the OP is, but I think he's pretty young. However, what he showed in this story towards the end was a clear sign that he is acting very maturely. Either way, if you have watched until here, please don't forget to post some star emojis in the comments and also like the video if you want to support me. Thank you very much in advance. And the next one is titled, Am I the a-hole for having an unhealthy relationship with my daughter? This is something I did not put much thought into, but since my ex expressed her outrage, perhaps the internet can judge this. Without too much context, my ex left me and our daughter Jo, not real name, many years ago, and I've been raising her all by myself these years. She's 27 now, still living with me and works in a cafe nearby. Jo, while having the intelligence of a normal person, aced in chemistry back in school, has the emotional maturity of a child. It does not take much for her to get upset or to become happy. She loves praises and hugs, dislikes strangers but warms up to them easily. She gets awkward talking to adults and loves playing with children, but would also pick fights and throw tantrums despite being 3 times their age. I can give more examples, but I hope you get the idea. Me and Jo split the house chores and take turns to cook for each other. We would also do goodbye hug and goodnight kiss on the cheek every day when we leave for work or go to sleep, separate rooms to be clear. I would praise Jo if she has done her part of the chores properly, as she likes praise, and also buy her snacks from time to time. I have not found another partner after my ex because Jo would certainly be upset, and I have gotten used to staying this way. Jo has been single too, as far as I know, and has shown no intention of moving out, which I am fine with. There has only ever been 2 of us in the house after my ex moved out. My ex, whose private life is not mine to share, paid us a visit some time ago, a long time in many years, for an update on Jo. She was absolutely disgusted of our lifestyle. She said we were living like a couple, which is not supposed to be. We are father and daughter, for Christ's sake. She demanded that we seek therapy and have Jo move out so that she can be independent and have her own life. Jo in turn screamed at her birth mother and kicked her out of the house. I have nothing on my conscience, as we never ever did anything questionable or vile. Therapy? We are both happy adults enjoying our lives. Have Joe move out? If she wants, I won't stop her, but if she's happy here, then she can stay as long as she likes. I do think I am not the a-hole who ruined my daughter's life with this unhealthy relationship, but I shall leave you to judge. Am I the a-hole? Info: it is not medically proven, but I believe Joe is not in the spectrum or has disabilities as many of you think. She's smart and functional and capable of living by herself, proven when I went on business trips and left her home alone when she was in her teens. The house was kept clean and tidy, but she's also lazy and enjoys being spoiled. She has 2 close friends her own age, also single, and would hang out with them sometimes. I also believe that therapy is only required if it causes problems, and if she's happy with her life, even if it is a little out of the norm, I don't think we need any therapy. So guys, once again, your opinion is needed. Is OP the a-hole for having a quote-unquote unhealthy relationship with his daughter? And a user in the comment said, info: is your daughter like on the spectrum or has some other behavioral condition? If so, not the a-hole. If she doesn't, then for Christ's sake, you are the a-hole. She is 27 and acts like a 10-year-old, you gotta find some way to fix that. Edit: another user is the opinion of most of us that you should definitely get her at least checked for autism. Your ex may be correct in that you are not providing the best upbringing for her. What the best upbringing may be though is for a professional to decide. Another person said, have to agree, the way OP describes his daughter's behavior is not that of a 27-year-old woman. I would expect it from a literal child or a rebellious older teen. I don't think it helps that OP still seems to treat her like a child. And another person said, going against the grain here and saying you are the a-hole because your job as a parent is to raise your kids to grow up to be independent, not pick fights with young children, and have the ability to form healthy relationships with others. She has been cuddled and allowed to do as she pleases. I won't say your relationship is inappropriate in the way your ex is insinuating, however, you do have a codependent relationship and that is not fair to your daughter. And another guy said, you are the a-hole. The way you describe your daughter, it sounds like she has some sort of undiagnosed condition that you should have had checked out years ago. It is not like you don't recognize the signs, you clearly stated them here, but you are treating her behavior like it is okay instead of recognizing that she's 27 but emotionally behaving like a child. Even if there's nothing wrong with her, you still need to cut the cord at some point. You both are putting your lives on hold for what? You won't consider a romantic relationship because your 27-year-old daughter won't like it? I'm sorry, but at this age her feelings have little to do with it. Your job as a parent is to teach her to be an independent, well-adjusted adult. That work doesn't stop when they turn 18, it is a lifelong commitment. I know you have issues with your ex, but consider her perspective as an outsider looking in. Bare minimum, seeing a doctor or therapist might not be a bad idea just to figure out whether or not she's on the spectrum. If she is, the sooner you find out the better, so you can get her the help she needs. And guys, unfortunately that was the last story for today. Please let me know in the comments if you enjoy r/am I the a-hole. I gotta say, usually I am not the person that really likes to jump on bandwagons in terms of what other people are doing. Hence, I was the first one to read subreddits like stories about HOAs, but I gotta say that r/am I the a-hole has a few very good stories. I am just afraid that it might be oversaturated already and I don't want to bore you guys. However, if I read the updates, it might be a little bit different than the other people doing it. In addition guys, lately I've been searching for new subreddits to read that no one else is reading, however it is not easy to find something honestly. I know that my audience enjoys stories that are true and not some fake BS, and that's why a lot of subreddits are not really the correct ones for me. If you know any websites that have interesting stories about life or maybe even something like legal advice, then please let me know in the comments. I've already been searching on lawyer forums, but I couldn't really find anything too interesting. Either way, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day and I see you again tomorrow.